Moments define the course of history. At James Madison University, we pride ourselves on capturing the moment. And over the course of our history, we've built a long list of accomplishments under our belts. We are no longer just a small school, tucked away in Virginia's scenic Shenandoah Valley. With these moments, JMU has emerged and proved to the nation that we will never back down from a challenge.
And now forever, they'll be known as national champions.
There's no doubt for the Dukes. They're going to the Women's College World Series for the first time.
Now, the pieces are in place to take the next step and craft new moments. There are rivalries to be renewed.
And he's in for the touchdown.
He's got the shot.
And new rivalries to be forged. There is a legacy of success to be elevated. JMU Athletics has all the ingredients necessary. We have first-class facilities. We have all the resources we need, athletic and academic support for our student athletes to create these moments. The passion of JMU Nation is unmatched.
Mother of college game day crowds.
And we have hands down the best all-around university in the country. We're not new to the national spotlight. The lights are just brightening. Our moment is here. The sun is rising on a new day for James Madison University.
Happy homecoming. Welcome to the Atlantic Union Bank Center at James Madison University. And welcome as well to everyone watching our live streams on Facebook as we celebrate a truly monumental day for James Madison University and our athletics program. Good morning, my name is Kevin Warner, Assistant AD for Communications here at JMU, and I'm happy to serve as moderator for today's press conference event. We'd like to thank everyone for joining us here at the Atlantic Union Bank Center for this celebration. This really is a shared moment, and we're so glad that you all could be here to celebrate with us. We'd also like to welcome members of the media who have joined us here today for this moment. We are glad you are here as well. It might be a little unusual to have a Saturday morning press conference, but we couldn't pass up the chance to celebrate this significant occasion with our homecoming weekend. What a perfect opportunity for our university. The excitement on campus is palpable, and we can feel the energy. In fact, I think you felt the energy of our band. We're so glad the band could join us and all of our spirit groups today to be part of this announcement. They are certainly part of this as well. During this morning's press conference, we will hear opening remarks from Sunbelt Commissioner Keith Gill, JMU President Jonathan Alger, and JMU Director of Athletics Jeff Bourne. We also have Senior Vice President Charlie King available for questions and appreciate all of his work to support us in this process. Following these opening remarks, we'll have a brief handful of questions from media members. We do have a very busy day here on homecoming schedules involving a lot of our guests here. So we'll have a brief number of questions, and then we will proceed to a Q&A portion, one-on-one media opportunities for our media here on the floor of the arena. If any out-of-town media are watching around the country, welcome, and please get in touch with our communications office, and we are happy to help with any questions or interview requests. There's a wealth of information on jmusports.com. We invite everyone to visit to read our press release, to read a long list of frequently asked questions, a lot of details beyond what you will hear in today's press conference. So please go read that information. And with that, I will turn it over to the Commissioner of the Sun Belt Conference, Keith Gill.
Well, good morning. Good morning. All right. This is such an exciting day. It's interesting. So I woke up this morning. I go for a walk pretty much every morning. And it was so good to be on campus. Such an absolutely beautiful campus. It's one I'm really familiar with, so I've been on this campus several times, and so it's so excited to be back. So my name is Keith Gill. I'm the commissioner of the Sun Belt Conference, and on behalf of the Sun Belt Conference presidents, chancellors, and athletic directors, I just want to announce that JMU has accepted our invitation to join the Sun Belt Conference. So I want to talk a little bit about how that acceptance helps me personally. So one, my wife Tiffany was here. Her favorite color is purple, and which she is wearing today. And she also grew up in Roanoke, Virginia. Her parents are here from Roanoke, and so JMU and this region obviously is important to the Sun Belt Conference, but it's also important for me to keep some sanity at the household as well. So thank you for that too. I also want to take a moment to thank some individuals that made this possible. So first, I would like to thank President Jonathan Alger. I really appreciate our conversations. Lots of thoughtful questions and lots of query. We had great discussions and conversations. Also want to thank my good friend Jeff Bourne. Now, these processes are obviously challenging, and you're trying to figure things out. And one of the things that made it easy is my relationship with Jeff Bourne. So I've known him for almost 30 years. It's interesting, when I was here, I guess about a week and a half ago, I was talking to him about the first time we met when he was working at Georgia Tech for Dave Brain. I was working at the NCAA. We were driving around Atlanta in his yellow Saab, talking about NCAA certification. But it's interesting, you never know that a meeting like that is going to help you on the road to a process like this. And obviously we were colleagues together with Colonial Athletic Football when I was the AD at Richmond. And so I really do just appreciate, one, your friendship, but also just the comfort and comfort level in terms of our discussions to get us this point. So thank you so much, Jeff, for that. So I also want to thank Charlie King. I want to congratulate him on his retirement, which I think is obviously not great for JMU because he's done so many wonderful things for this place, but it's so well-deserved. But certainly thanks for all your help with this process. We certainly wouldn't be here without your good work. So I'd also like to thank the JMU Governing Board, and I know there's some members here. I met one of them earlier. So obviously your leadership in this is really important in this. And then the state of Virginia, and certainly the process that JMU had to go through that was successful yesterday. So we couldn't be here today without that. So I want to give a shout out to the Sun Belt leadership, so our CEOs and our chancellors, our presidents, and our ADs. Without them and their leadership, that wouldn't be possible, particularly the president of the Sun Belt, the chancellor at Arkansas State, Kelly Danfus. When realignment began, the Sun Belt, we felt we were in a really good position. So we felt we could easily stay where we are at 10 football playing schools and 12 all-sport members because we felt like we were a strong conference. But we did want to look around the country and see if there were schools and athletic departments that added value to who we are. And as we were vetting, institutions, JMU rose to the top of that list. We knew that JMU would strengthen the Sun Belt. And when you think about that, there's a few reasons why. One, the strong brand. You have an absolutely strong national brand. You have a really strong national profile, and that's both academically and athletically. And then you have a passionate fan base, which we see here, that regularly keeps the football attendance in the top 5 of FCS. You add that to the actual success: 7 consecutive FCS playoffs, 2 national championships, 17 playoff appearances. Think about the incredible softball as well. Who didn't watch, Odyssey Alexander and that run last year? So as we were evaluating all of the criteria, JMU kept rising to the top of our list. And there's no doubt about it, the Sun Belt got stronger today with the addition of JMU. I would be remiss if I didn't remark on the incredible facilities. Obviously, a metaphor by the facility we're in today. Isn't this an unbelievable basketball arena? And when you look across the board at the athletics facilities, this is what you see. Bridgeforth Stadium, which has been the source of some really difficult games for me in the past. So, but it's a wonderful, wonderful venue for college football, obviously your baseball and your softball. It's just an incredible institution that really has facilities, commitment, and an investment that is going to have you at the top of FBS as soon as you get started. So we're really excited about that. Your strength, coupled with our strength, is going to make for a really dynamic conference. You're joining a conference that leads FBS in bowl winning percentage. You also are joining a conference that has two teams ranked in the AP poll. Sunbelt softball last year earned 4 NCAA bids. 4 NCAA bids. Our baseball is a perennial multi-bid league as well, and our basketball continues to improve, and along with your basketball, it's going to make it that much better. This is a great partnership. I couldn't be more excited about today and what the future holds. The Sun Belt is in a great place right now, but I can assure you there's a better destination ahead for the Sun Belt. The future is bright, and the reason why it's bright is because JMU is joining our conference, and we're really appreciative. So thank you very much, and welcome to the Sun Belt.
Good morning, everybody. I'm President John Alger at JMU, and thank you so much for being here. Keith, thank you so much for your leadership. We have been inspired by the vision, positive spirit, emphasis on student-athlete well-being, and collegiality shared by you and the Sun Belt institutions. And I want to thank everybody who's here this morning. Jeff, Charlie, Kevin, and also my wife, Marianne, a big athletics supporter, is here. Mary Lou Bourne is in the house. Thank you, Mary Lou. Members of the Board of Visitors, the Marching Royal Dukes, and the cheer team. How about all of them? This is not just about the student athletes, it's actually about all of our students. And it's homecoming, and yes, the Dukes are in the house. This really is a historic day for James Madison University as we embrace our future. The Sun Belt Conference beckons, and the future is bright. On behalf of the James Madison University community, we are thrilled to receive and accept the invitation to join the Sun Belt Conference with a new and visionary opportunity for high-level competition within the newly configured Eastern region. This move provides an opportunity to be aligned through academics and athletics with a set of other dynamic and innovative public institutions of higher education in contiguous states, which will provide stability and commonality of interest during a time of tremendous change and upheaval in intercollegiate athletics. Like JMU, many of these institutions have grown and changed significantly in recent years to serve the evolving needs of the 21st century. We stand at an auspicious point now in our history. We've come a long way, right, from our humble beginnings as a small all-women's teachers college a century ago. Indeed, JMU expects to be recognized as a national research university very soon, a clear reflection of the excellence of our academic programs and our arrival on a truly national stage. And as the university gains this additional national recognition for its academics, this move to the highest level of athletic competition for all of our varsity teams is a natural and complementary next step. These pieces, by the way, didn't just fall into place by accident. They are the result of years of long-term strategic planning and thoughtfully managed growth. As JMU has grown and evolved, we've always sought to do things the right way. and at the right time for our students, faculty and staff, student athletes, and coaches. We didn't just jump at the first opportunity or take a leap of faith. We prepared ourselves to be in a position of strength so that we could take advantage of the right moment and the right fit. And as you know, the Sun Belt Conference has operated in that same way as Keith just described, and that is why we are here today. We have built a strong and nationally competitive athletics program across the board, and we have the facilities to support it, like this beautiful arena in which we meet today. We wouldn't be here, of course, without the support and leadership of our Board of Visitors, and I would like to please acknowledge them. Would you rise, those of you from the Board of Visitors? Thank you for your guidance and service. Thank you, guys. I also want to acknowledge our wonderful athletic director, Jeff Bourne, and his entire team for their tireless efforts to prepare for this moment. And, of course, we've also done the hard work financially to ensure that we could move to this level without overburdening our students. So let me acknowledge my wonderful colleague, Vice President Charlie King, and his team. Thank you, Charlie. I can assure you that they pay close attention to the numbers and keep us on track through careful stewardship of our resources. Just yesterday, as you know, we made a presentation in Richmond. It's been kind of a busy weekend, to the General Assembly's Intercollegiate Athletics Review Commission to make the case that JMU was prepared for this move. It was the first time this group had ever met. If you happen to see it, you know that that was a very short meeting because we made a clear and compelling case. The result was a unanimous vote of support from the state legislators who were assembled there. Absolutely. And I'd like to thank the Commission for their diligence and support. Finally, we know that we would not have reached this milestone without the active participation of our entire community, the faculty and staff who mentor and teach our students, the coaches and support staff, and fellow students, community members, alumni, family, and friends who cheer on and support the Dukes. We need you and we appreciate all of you. We know that we have much hard work ahead, and we also know that we must seize this opportunity to focus even more on the education and well-being of our student athletes. We want them to succeed in sports and in life, and that is our firm commitment. So, the time is right. Our moment in the sun and in the Sun Belt has arrived. Let me now turn to Athletic Director Jeff Bourne to add his comments. Thank you so much for coming.
Well, good morning. I knew it was going to be a good day when I woke up, and one of the first texts I got was from one of my colleagues that sent me an old Beatles clip with Here Comes the Sun. Being a product of the 60s, things were on the uptick once I heard that. So, Tiffany, you have a colleague from the Roanoke Valley. I grew up in Salem, not North Side, but Salem, so we've got some good things coming out of the valley. Well, a lot obviously has been mentioned already about how special today is and where we're going. This facility, all of our facilities, and everything that we have to offer was really shown by the interest by other conferences in JMU. And I'm really happy today to stand up here and formally, going forward, be a member of the Sun Belt Conference and one of their athletic directors. Keith Gill is right. We had a good ride around town in Georgia that day. I'm glad he was with me that day because a week later somebody ran into me in that sob, and I would not have wanted him with us that afternoon. But it's all about relationships. And one of the things I think that's brought us to this place is the very special, unique campus that we have here at JMU. And it's one of the things that I recognized early on in my role as the athletic director, and that is the collaborative, supportive environment that exists on this campus. Faculty, staff, coaches, administration. And that carries back to our alumni, fans, and our ticket holders. Today's a celebration. I'm happy for our student athletes. The level of exposure that will be brought to us by the Sun Belt will be phenomenal. Being a member of the ESPN network now, so whenever you get a chance to watch the Dukes, you'll be either streamed on ESPN Plus or one of their other network of stations. I think that's probably one of the greatest things that can happen when you try to drive a brand. And all of us, you've heard today, we talk about brand. This affiliation, it will be something special. Many of you know Lee Fitting. Lee Fitting is an executive director with ESPN. I had a chance to chat with him last evening. He's excited about this opportunity and what it means for JMU. And the old adage goes, it's nice to have people in high places. So we've had a lot of success. I firmly believe we're going to go into the Sun Belt, and our programs will continue to compete right at the top of the league. As Keith mentioned, our goal is success across all of our programs, not just one or two. We support all 18, and we will support all 18 in this move. We'll make sure that every one of our teams has a good opportunity to compete and that they'll be able to win a championship. We talked a little bit about brand. We talked about realignment. We've done a lot of work, and I commend our president and Charlie King for standing behind us through this, because these realignments don't happen without a lot of work. And there have been a lot of people on our campus and a lot of different offices that have contributed to this. And I want to thank them now. Our staff, university staff, and everybody. They burned the midnight oil. They've done a lot of things recently, but also over the last number of years to make today happen. And I'm grateful for that. The revenue streams from the Sun Belt Conference will mean a lot to us going forward. It's one of those opportunities that will help create opportunity for us. And we all know how important revenue is. I would be remiss if I let this window pass. We will do very well revenue-wise, but this will all come back to roost eventually on our alumni, fans, and ticket holders. Very, very critical. Over the years, I've heard many, many times, Jeff, if you guys ever think about going FBS, you can count on me. I am going to raise my gift tenfold. I have a good memory. Just this morning, Cliff Wood reported to us that we had a donor that had given $100 a year for sort of every year. This morning, that gift moved to $1,000 for the current year. That is an example of what we need. Because again, whenever you're going somewhere, I'm not interested in just making the move. I'm interested in the move to win championships. And as good as it's been, as good as we've been, it's going to be better. And with the help of the Sun Belt, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to ask Commissioner Gill, if he would, for just a moment to come forward. Of course, their conference office is down in New Orleans, and there is some purple and yellow in New Orleans, but there's no purple and Vegas gold. So with this plaque, which says JMU, proud member of the Sun Belt Conference. We'll give him something to take back and put on the office wall, and I'll look forward to seeing it when I'm with him next year. I'm going to turn the floor over to our moderator, Kevin Warner, and as usual, go Dukes!
Well, as I mentioned earlier, we will have an opportunity now for a handful of questions from our gathered members of the media. We also want to make sure they have a chance for one-on-one interviews, so we will have a handful of questions in the public portion, and then we'll wrap up today's press conference and give them more media opportunities. So for any of our guests on stage, we'll open up any members of the media. We also have two mics being passed, so please request a mic and then ask your question. TJ?
Yeah, I'll start with this question for Keith Gill. I'm TJ Eck, sports director for WHSV TV here in Harrisonburg. And Keith, just take us back through kind of this whole process. Why was JMU the right school? When did it kind of click with you that, like, this is the program we want to go after? And why did you decide to pursue that?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. You know, for me, I mean, I've been familiar with JMU for a really long time. Obviously, I was athletic director at Richmond. We played him in everything. I was athletic director at American University. We played him in everything. So when this process started for us, really started probably, you know, when we looked at our phones in July and saw that Texas and Oklahoma were moving. We knew that was going to certainly create some ripple effects. You know, we began to kind of meet as a conference regularly, and JMU was always at the top of that list. I mean, if you look at the facilities, if you look at the success, one of the things that was really important for us was building a nice regional footprint, East and West, and it really made a lot of sense in the East. We wanted really good fan bases that were excited and passionate, that came to games, and they fit that bill. And then great institution academically, which we wanted to be associated with, and obviously great success across the board. We want to get better in all of our sports. If you think about, obviously, the quality, you know, football is one thing, but think about softball, think about baseball. Those are all sports that are really important to us. We'll be able to start a men's soccer program that'll be one of the top men's soccer programs in the country. You know, our basketball has improved. So there was a comprehensive success that JMU had as well that kind of kept them at the top of that list.
Wayne Epps from the Times-Dispatch.
This question for Mr. Bourne. I know JMU had, you know, multiple options, you know, as this round of realignment was going on. Take us through, you know, the process of selling on, okay, the Sun Belt is the right move for us, and what were some of the options that were available on the table, you know, this fall?
Well, we have said over the years one of the very important elements to alignment had to be regional competition. Fans creating loyalty and rivalries is very important to us. And two of our major rivals in the past has been Old Dominion University and Appalachian State. I remember some really great contests between those two. And when you couple that with Georgia State, which was in our league at one time, and the other regional institutions like Georgia Southern and Marshall, it really gives us a footprint in the East to have a divisional conference there, a division of the conference, which from the standpoint of travel for our sport teams makes it a lot easier and more functional. And then to the comments that President Alger made, we wanted institutions that were like us. Broad-based athletic programs, relatively large universities, and programs where the commitment and resources from the school itself were consistent across the board. Those were all very important elements to us. And when you look at the history that they've had with regard to being competitive, that's paramount. And I really feel like when we transition into the league, our teams are going to fare extremely well. But the regional divisional piece was very important, the continuity piece on the type of institutions they were, and then some already familiar institutions that we'd played and had great rivalries with, I think are very important. And I think that'll manifest itself when we travel to their sites, and I think you'll also see their fans come to JMU, which is another very important part for us. If it sounds like this comes back to revenue a lot, you're right, so, yep.
Shane Metlin from the Daily News Record. This is for Keith Gill. There's been, like Jeff just said, there's been so much talk about the regional aspect of this conference. But I think a lot of people are curious what the cross-division scheduling for football and all other sports will look like.
Yeah, I think obviously we've got some work to do to figure that out, but I think from a football standpoint, we'd have 7 in the East, 7 in the West. So primarily you would obviously play 6 in your division, and then you'd have 2 that you'd play cross-division, 1 home, 1 away, and we would cycle that through. So that's probably where we'll end up from a football standpoint, and we'll build all of our other schedules in a similar way, I would suspect.
Hi, this one's for Jeff Bourne. I'm Savannah Rieger from The Breeze. For a while, you've been working on getting JMU to the FBS, getting them to the next level. Do you feel like a weight has just been lifted off your shoulders?
I meet every 2 weeks at 7:30 in the morning with Charlie King. I don't think there's been a meeting that we've missed where we didn't talk about it, or Charlie. I mean, it's always out there. You have to be very careful when you're in our role, because it's very easy to give in to pressure, especially from key donors and people who come to you and want answers. But I really do appreciate the support of the university in looking at this over the years. I'd be less than honest if I didn't say this is a great day for me, and yeah, the weight's lifted off a little bit. That said, we have a tremendous amount of work to do internally for this. This is a great day, but when you look at the operational element of this and what it takes to make all this work, we've got a lot of work here in the coming years to transition smoothly and do the right thing for our coaches and our student athletes. So couldn't be happier, but also acknowledge that it's a day of just moving to a different phase.
Jeff, a question for you as well. I know this is a day of great celebration, but I know a couple days ago it was probably a day of great frustration in terms of what happened with the Colonial Athletic Association, and they obviously just officially announced ineligible for championships moving forward. I know this is something that you're excited about, but what's your reaction to that? I know that's news that's upset a lot of JMU Nation.
It was a difficult day. President Alger and I made the petition the first of the week. I thought did a really good job trying to explain the scenario. We're well aware there's a bylaw. We're also well aware that you can pass a waiver and make it go away. I feel for our student athletes, I really do. Their lives are centered around fighting and working for championships, and who we've hurt through this is not the institution as much as the student athletes. And for those of us that eat, sleep, and breathe every day for their betterment and to do what they do, it's difficult. If you look throughout the country, there are not other conferences that are making that decision. And right now we're living in a world of change. A lot of schools are leaving leagues and turning over, and there's not another one that's made that and maintained that decision. It's been on the books for a long time. I hope that it's something that we'd hope that would go away. But our goal right now is to fight for our student athletes, our kids, and our coaches. And I'm glad to be affiliated with a league that shows that emphasis on well-being for the student athletes and truly caring about them.
We have one last question from Shane.
Following up on that just a little bit with Keith, a lot of conference commissioners, administrators have, fairly openly criticized that decision by the CAA, and actually your predecessor at the Sun Belt called me yesterday to complain about it, and I was wondering if that kind of action is something that leagues you've worked in has ever even considered.
I think any time you have actions like that kind of impact student athletes in that kind of way, particularly the immediate, kind of the fall student athletes, the volleyball heading in their championship, I just think that's a challenge, So I'd certainly heard about that when I was AD at American in terms of what had happened, and certainly when I was AD at Richmond, and And I just think that it's a new day. It's a little bit of a different day, and I think that that deserves a different approach, and certainly an approach that allows student athletes to compete. Make sure, particularly coming off of COVID, there's a lot of really obstacles and challenges that all student athletes across the country have had to manage. That you're just not trying to throw kind of additional ones in their way. So I would certainly support kind of adjusting that and allowing the students of JMU to participate in those championships, because they've earned it. They've fought hard. That's important. That's important to their educational experience. And at the end of the day, that's what this is about. Trying to give students opportunities to become whoever they want to be and take advantage of the opportunities in front of them and not take those opportunities away. So yeah, I certainly think it's a different era and a different approach to be taken, and would certainly support allowing those students to compete for championships, because that's what they want to do.
Well, once again, we'd like to thank everyone for joining us for this big announcement and big day here at James Madison University. We'll have a few on-stage photos here as we wrap up. We have the JMU Duke Club is here in the concourse if you'd like to discuss further how you can support our new endeavors and our move into the Sun Belt Conference, and the ticket office is also open here at the arena as well. We hope everyone enjoys this homecoming weekend. For members of the media, stick around. We'll have availability here for interviews. We also have a few coaches here as well who've agreed that they're available for interviews, so just let us know how we can help. This really raises the stature and level of the entire university, and that includes our spirit groups, and once again, we're so glad they're here today. So we will wrap up with our Marching Royal Dukes.